That's roasting my homeboy who likes Android phones.
Yeah.
But I can never use iPhone. But I feel limited. So I asked him, well, what makes you feel like you're being limited? I don't know. Like, okay, so what can you do on Android that you can't do on iPhone?
Hmm.
Simanye, but there's why I feel like it's limiting. So he couldn't justify
Yeah.
whatever limitations he's talking about,
I think they talk
which
about
nullifies.
Antimo Android. They can put on their 250 GB.
My phone has 500 GB. I have no need for a memory
Yeah.
card.
The new
Doesn't
iPhones,
count.
the new iPhones, well, also
Mm.
not good at terabyte.
Eh, so
So
byaliko ng'olongoto ka alcohol kankayiwe muno that way.
Actually, Mujevale. My name is Bani Kibuka, and welcome to another episode of the Ugandan Ball Talk Show. I like spontaneous conversation. I mean, I know I planned because I have a lot of questions that I'm gonna ask you. But I like
Mm,
spontaneous conversation, like how we said talking about Android, which I didn't plan on doing that,
mm,
but it fits in perfectly. Um,
mm,
Now, yeah, the last time I had you on the podcast, kwegamba nange nali
mm.
ntandika butandisi, sometimes you figure out things as you go, and
Yeah.
I didn't really have a big connection with you and the work you do, but ever since that, I've
Mm,
followed you and followed what you've done. So
mm,
I feel like now I'm in a good position to have a good conversation with you because at least I know a little bit about you that I can have a conversation with you. And I gotta say that was
mm,
one of my best episodes that I've ever had on here. It's still one of my top 4 episodes I've ever had, especially ku
mm,
YouTube ne
mm.
podcast. I want to appreciate you. Okumpa Akademani, you were one of the busiest guys in Uganda kati.
Nange na naffe gye tugyazi connection, so eh, we have to create time for exposure.
Yeah.
Mm?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really
So,
good. So
mm,
podcast 10, this episode, I want it to be special because a lot of people they've been reaching out to me like, you
mm,
know, we talk about podcast in Luganda. So we're gonna be mix
mm,
matching and feel free to use Luganda whenever you want. Nange ngenda kuba more
mm,
Luganda range sometimes, and then we'll switch English. We're not to Jabikola, but I really appreciate
yeah,
you,
mm,
and I sent out
mm,
questions. Oh, before that, I had William, the
mm,
person you recommended to be on my podcast a year ago. I just had him like
mm.
recently. Omusajja omuzibu wa
Oh, that's not
kufuna naye. I,
muzibu nnyo. It's very hard to get.
I just finished a recording with
And
him, and it was really
mm,
good. A lot of people asked him a lot of questions. It was really. I don't know if you've got a
mm.
chance to listen to that one.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I asked him if he had listened to it and said, I will never listen to myself speaking on a podcast. I personally didn't listen to mine until just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, actually, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
We hate to listen to
I
ourselves.
know.
So,
I hated listening to myself, but ever since I started the podcast, you can't
mm,
avoid it because when you're editing, you're gonna have to listen to yourself.
mm,
So I kind of
very true.
got used to that, and there's nothing to do about it. I can't mute myself when I'm editing. I have to listen to it.
Yeah,
Um,
very true.
there's a lot of questions like people have sent. First of
Mm,
all, I want to appreciate you, the work you do,
mm,
because you guys put in a lot of time, which we might
mm,
not be able to see, but you guys put in a lot of
mm,
time to produce the work you put out on the internet. I know a
mm,
lot of critics can just say, "Oh, it's the channel, yeah," but they don't really know
mm.
behind what like it takes for you guys to put in that work, and even like content
Yeah.
creators, like Okole Chinchio, and people will be
Mm,
first to judge, but they don't really know what you go through to get to where that is.
yeah, very true. So, personally, I think when I started out, I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I started doing photography, I used to do a lot of volongoto. The HDR content was all there. I mean, the HDR saturation filters, all the sliders would be up there, and the picture would look good to me,
Hmm.
but professionally, it was rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is through that feedback that I learned how to at least take better pictures.
Hmm.
And even now, I'm still learning. So it is by putting that work out there
Yeah.
that you get to learn what to fix, where to fix, and all that. So it's just put the things out there.
Yeah.
Feedback will come and you'll get better. But if you don't put out there, then you'll never learn or you'll never get the necessary.
You mentioned
Yeah,
that on the first episode that we put out, actually. You mentioned
yeah,
that example of just putting
yeah,
your work out there. And, like, for
yeah,
me, I understand that point of, like, yeah, feedback will come. But there's guys, too, like, abatakuwa feedback in a positive way. You know, there's negative feedback.
mm,
There's building feedback. The feedback, I got to kuza wansi. Like,
mm,
demolishing feedback. And what guy, again, just negative. Like, not giving you a solution, like, hey, Bonnie, next time we
mm,
work on a
mm,
podcast, you do like this and then adjust this.
mm.
Maybe this will help you to do this. Nekat wo guy ajo kujega
Yeah,
ah byakola bichi bitoje na kusobola toge na bimalako, like, you know, that kind of negativity
yeah,
which you don't
yeah.
need.
So fortunately for me, I haven't really gotten a negative feedback. I feel like the people who probably have the negative feedback, they never come out to tell me. They can't say it out directly.
Yeah.
They just keep it to themselves. It doesn't really help, but as long as it doesn't project and show negative energy, that's fine. But the people who have something to say, they always come and tell me
Yeah.
that kuna wanavyoti iwe, but which is very rare, and it stresses me out when I give a client a video and they don't recommend any changes. Like,
Yeah.
can you change it? I feel like tonyambye nnyo.
Yeah.
Yes, I've taken your money, but if you feel like I should have changed, tell me that wano so kano kachuse muko okole what, because that helps. I feel like okay, now we are working together.
Right.
But if you don't give me feedback, then I feel like I'm working alone.
Yeah.
Nzali okutegeera. So njagala, I prefer that me and the client,
Have a
help each
communication.
other
Yeah.
to make changes.
So last time you were on the podcast, you told us why you chose not to do wildlife pictures, and of recent, I've seen you post a few. Actually, I think yesterday,
Yeah.
you've posted like a lot of wildlife. Was that because of the trip you went on, or you just doing it again?
So the trip is one of the reasons, but also the other reason is I got a gig that is mostly wildlife based recently. It was a 5-day trip to the West. The campaign is Explore West campaign, by the Ministry of, is it Wildlife? So, and my role on that trip was to cover wildlife, mostly to focus on the wildlife, and the other person was focusing on the experience. So me, I have to do wildlife.
Okay.
And that's why I was doing more wildlife pictures, and I'm not going to keep them on my phone. And the beauty is the client does not insist that these are my pictures, you can't use them. Yeah. They want us to share the pictures so they can be seen. So I've been sharing those. But also on the trip there was a space that was hosted during that trip, and there were questions as to why they took me instead of to do the pictures and videos, instead of the guys who are mostly focusing on wildlife photography and tourism photography.
I thought about asking you that.
Yeah, why they didn't take those. But I don't know if those people are aware, but I studied wildlife photography and I'm proficient around that side. So my intention is to put these out there so they know that guy never know. So it's not just that Tavisola, he just chooses not to actually do this and focus on the ones that pay him more. But I can also do this and fairly good enough. So yeah.
That's a good expansion, because I had that question too. Hey, no, like I didn't have that question because I knew when I had you on the podcast, Wachogera Konti, and I've seen the page. There's a whole page with a lot of like wildlife pictures that most people don't know about, but I think I shared it in the episode. So I knew that side of you that you can do also work on maybe wildlife, but I thought like you went to the trip because of the content you're doing now, the short films, the short videos. But it was pretty cool to know that they had you to do that on the side.
Actually, before they even called me up to recommend, to ask me to go on that trip, someone sent them that wildlife page for them to confirm that he can actually do this type of content. So that's why they took me. Back to your question, the experience. It was really nice because I've been wanting to go out again and do wildlife,
Mm-hmm.
scenery, and whatever, but the schedules are very busy. And I recently uh, ended my 9 to 5, so I have a lot of time to myself
Mm-hmm.
to do all these other things I like. And the experience is really beautiful being back in the wild,
Yeah.
uh, seeing these animals. Hmm? I don't know how to put it. It's something that I can't really describe, but I feel like you have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
The the other side of the experience is working on pressure because now on the trip you're mostly offline because you're in the jungle.
Yeah.
There's no network. The beauty is people now have iPhones, so you can easily edit an airdrop.
Mm-hmm.
The videos for them, however, a bit tricky because for them you need more time to compose yourself, and you can't really edit when the road is bumpy and all that
Mm-hmm.
power, whatever. But all in all, it was a success. I
Yeah.
managed to deliver everything on time, met my KPIs, uh, and I also had fun. It didn't feel like work because I was with all these celebs. I was with the Salvador,
Yeah.
Madrid,
That's what
Chico.
I was gonna bring up my drag and Chico. There's a clip you
Yeah,
posted. I laughed so hard. They were arguing with Salvador, and you can't me,
yeah.
you can't me.
You can't be. Eh? Let's argue in English. So those guys, even when you're feeling tired and all that, guys just can't keep quiet.
Yeah.
Hmm? Even when you try to ignore the jokes, they will say something that will just crack you up.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps you awake and not bored. So it was
Yeah.
really nice
It
having the
looks
comedians on the road.
Yeah, it looked really nice, and having the dance
Yeah,
mamuetas, like a lot of people, it looks really fun. It looks like a
yeah,
trip like
it
somebody can
was
do.
fun.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna jump into the people's questions, and there's a lot of questions like they asked you. Do you want me to start with the hard questions or the easy ones?
Just attack. Hopefully, I can answer them to the fullest. So I'll
Okay.
try to attempt all of
I'll
them.
just go in order. And I learned this lesson
Mm,
after I did William's episode because so William was like,
mm,
"Hey, tell me the
mm,
handles so I can help these guys who ask those questions." So without thinking about
mm,
it, I was reading a question with
mm,
the handles, and some of the people who
mm.
asked questions came back in my inbox and was like, "Watukoze bubi muzeyi amanyaga fenoga soma
Right. Yeah,
so I don't think
I understand.
this one I'm not going to read the names, and I apologize to the people that reached out to me. I didn't think about
Mm,
it that way. I mean, William gave me a good reason for me to read the username because some of those questions were
mm.
seeking advice. So he wanted to know
Yeah.
how he can reach out to them. But
Why they felt that way is because on the internet they are known as
yeah,
Abamanyi.
yeah,
So they feel a certain type of way when their names are mentioned out that they are consulting with another Mumanyi. So that's probably why they were feeling a
yeah.
certain type of way. Mm,
So I transferred my questions, but I didn't transfer the username. So I'm just going to read them. And the first question will be I have one question
mm,
for Nyaika. What inspired
mm.
him into becoming a content creator? And I must admit that I'm a big fan of his work. I think his work speaks for itself.
All right. Oh, thank you to whoever asked the question. So, what inspired me is again, this goes back to the first one, the first podcast. Uh, when you wake up, first thing you do, look at your phone or your laptop or something. Yeah, it's a screen that you look at, and you're always watching videos or pictures or something. And why not be part of the people who are creating these things you look at when you wake up, whenever you take a break or lunch break or wake up in the morning, you're always looking at your phone. Even when you go swimming, yeah,
Hmm.
and you're out of the water to sunbathe, you're either looking at the screen or reading a book.
Yeah.
So the content on there, that should at least be mine. Eh?
Hmm.
I want to be one of the people helping you spend more time on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like that's the reason I joined this content creation. Plus, it's also fun
Hmm.
creating it. It's really fun. I just love it. Every time I'm there, every time I look at something, I'm like, this could make 1 million views.
Right.
Yeah, that guy with another border on a border. that could be like a million views.
Yeah.
Let me film that and put it out there. So yeah, just wanting to show things happening in real time and sharing is what really inspire what makes me do the content.
That's crazy because I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I
Mm,
usually I drive a
mm,
lot, like when I'm driving to work, driving home, and I never really get a
mm,
chance to like record something on my drive. But yesterday I got a chance
mm,
to back seat because somebody else was driving, and when I was
yeah,
driving through the city we live in, those buildings and
mm,
the cars, I remember just
mm,
pulling out my phone and trying. Can I even Nyaika inobu video work all one? Now recording I want to go cool like that. So I pulled my phone out and I was just like, I'm gonna try to like get that eye, but it takes talent because I
yeah.
did it. I'm like, nah, I can't get a video. Okay, but I already like, but I tried it because I
Uh,
wanted to see, and
mm,
that inspired me, and that makes sense when you said it like that. When you look at the internet, there's a lot of work
mm,
there that will inspire you. So the other question was, somebody was saying, I
mm,
want to know the type of work he does and his everyday take carry. Like, what do you
mm,
carry on a daily, like in terms of technology stuff, like tech? And
mm,
I think they were asking the type of work you do. And when I put up this post for people to ask you questions, there's
mm.
one guy on Twitter. I don't remember his username. And then I think he was kind of making a joke or something. He said, "What career?"
I also saw that question. I didn't understand
So
it.
like I asked him, is it a question? Because if it was a question, he didn't put a question mark at the end of it. So
Yeah.
and he put on a GIF of that guy laughing. This guy who was on Titanic. I don't know his name. I've
Mm.
forgotten his name. Um.
Oh, I think I know what you meant. What a career.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh, like
yeah,
from
very
a
lots.
quote
Yeah.
from a movie.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I
But
think that's
anyway,
what you meant.
that's so
Mm,
this person was asking the same thing. Like, what type of work you do? I know you've explained all these things in the first
mm,
episode. Probably some people should need to go and watch that one because that shows me that some of
mm.
the people they didn't listen to that. But maybe you can just
Yeah.
give them a short story about that.
The type of work I do, correct?
Hmm. Yeah, and what you
All right.
carried on a
So,
daily, like what kind of tech stuff you carry on a daily.
okay. So my daily carry is uh, I have two setups. Yeah. So setup one, which usually is on a Monday morning, I carry uh this leather bag from Italy.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Uh, so what is usually inside there is the iPad and my MacBook.
Okay,
The iPad is second display because I use it to mirror. It's hard for me to work on one screen.
hmm
And then the laptop, obviously. So that's what I carry on the daily. If I need a camera, then I'll use my phone that day. Now, the second setup is the backpack, where I'll put only the laptop and the camera. Yeah, because if I add the iPad, then it becomes very heavy.
heavy.
So
Yeah.
in there, I put the laptop and the camera, and also probably a gimbal in case I need to shoot.
Okay.
That's when I have really work to do. And even that day, I dress different. So today I carried the leather bag. That's why you see me in a gentle shirt and all
Yeah.
that. When I carry the backpack, I'll be in a t-shirt,
Okay.
ideally a black t-shirt. So yeah, that's my daily carry. I'll have a wallet, an Apple Watch, uh, I'll have
Shed.
shades, and this. This is the MX Master 3.
Okay.
I cannot go anywhere without it. If I make a mistake and leave the house without it,
Hmm.
I probably won't be able to be productive that day. I just can't. It's hard. I can't do anything.
Is that the mouse?
And yeah, this is the mouse.
You don't like the
The
Apple
Logit.
mouse?
No, no, no.
You don't
The
like it?
problem with the Apple mouse, it's really small,
Yeah.
and if you're working for long hours, it makes this way it feels.
Yeah.
So this, on the other hand, this is the gaming mouse. So it
Okay.
fully takes up my palm. It has multiple customizable buttons. So it's
Mm.
the best there is.
Yeah.
And this is a water bottle.
Now, do you keep water in there, or you can put in something else in there?
I can put in coffee. I
Okay.
usually, For this, I only put black coffee because it's a bit hard to wash.
Okay.
And black coffee is not as bad as the latte.
Okay.
The latte, it's a different cup.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. What else? I I think that's it.
Yeah.
I also move with a knife. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show you. Where's my knife? Oh yeah. So, mm, so I have. This is my knife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So when I move with the camera,
Mm-hmm.
I carry this on me. Uh, Not that Uganda is not safe, but I just keep it on me in case. Just in
Just
case.
in case.
Eh?
Wetaaga self defense.
Okwerinda okwerinda oba
Sibuti.
si butiitirizi.
Yeah, I think that's what they say.
So yeah,
Yeah.
being ready is not being fearful. So yeah, I just keep it on me
No,
just in case.
that is good. I almost asked
Yeah.
you why you keep the knife, but it's self-explanatory. A lot of people here have like the
Yeah.
multi-purpose tool, like with the screwdrivers, nabichi, no wambe. But I also have seen people like who carry knives everywhere. So this one question,
So, yeah.
actually, and I think you talked about what you were showing something else.
This is the multi-purpose tool. This is a screwdriver kit. It has everything in it, all the kits.
Do you carry that, or that stays at home?
No, this stays home unless I need to fix something.
Okay.
Stays here. Yeah.
All right, and
So you say
this other question, and you talked about this on Twitter today. I think the tweet was like post a picture with your significant other or your partner, and a lot of people in the comments they were talking about Pfizer, and somebody asked, "Is Nyaika dating Pfizer?" And I remember your tweet. You said today you were responding to her. You were like, people they see you are the only light skinned friend of mine, and they're saying it's you. But somebody had asked me that question: Is Nyaika dating Pfizer?
the answer is no. Me and Pfizer are just friends. We are besties.
Okay.
Yeah. We have this group of us where we do content together. We hang out together sometimes. So we just spend a lot of time around each other, and I think people misinterpret that for a relationship. And being close to a female friend, most people kind of misunderstand that. But we are strictly just friends. Nothing like I said.
Muwulidde saagala kuddamu kukebera ku Twitter nkya nga mubuuza ebibuuzo bye bimu. So the guy has talked about it here. So, and that's the whole purpose of like all of you people who have questions on Twitter. We told you to bring in your questions. Omusajja abaddemu. And some of you shied away. Kati, after this episode, tetwagala bibuuzo birala bye mubuuza
awulidde ategeeze munne.
Awulidde ategeeze munne. I met this man one time, and he's a whole vibe. Nice work he does. Big up to you. I think this wasn't a question. It was just somebody who has met you, and he said your whole vibe. And I gotta add on to that. Like, I know I've not met you in person, but just like having a conversation with you, talking to you, you can tell like the vibe is there, and the way you do your work, the people you surround yourself to, you make sure there's a vibe. Like even when you post like a content of you and your friends around, you're always having a good time, and you make a place happy place.
Yeah, thank you. So on my this profession I'm in, if you make it feel like a job, you get bored easily.
Right.
Yeah. Taking pictures and videos of people having fun. Sometimes I get bored, but how about you also have fun while doing it? That way it feels more of entertainment as opposed to being a job.
Yeah.
So you have fun while getting paid.
And that's actually reminds me of something William said here too, because on his questions, and I'm not trying to make this William's podcast, but referring to what he said, somebody was saying his pictures, you can see life through his pictures. And his answer was like, he doesn't separate himself from his work. Like he puts himself in the work. So us people who see on Instagram, we're able to see that connection. And that's why we say when we see your content, you're able to connect with your content because you put yourself in your content to make sure it makes you happy. It's going to make other people happy. How does he plan on uplifting people who are interested in photography and videography?
So before this year ends, I'm planning to have master classes where I can sit a few guys down and we have a chat so they can ask me the most pressing questions. We exchange ideas on how to best create content for their particular field, how to act professionally in this setup because most of us are not employed directly by an organization or whatever. We are self-employed, and being professional might be tricky or might be hard. So you can easily lose your morals or lose yourself. So knowing when to do what and when uh, really helps you go a mile further. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because I've had very many guys not get gigs because of how they acted on certain project or whatever, so they can't get that client back. And this being a social media driven industry, you find your image and your content and this goes hand in hand. So if the image is trash, uh, content will be as much as the content is good, people won't want to associate
Mm-hmm.
with you. So that affects you. Uh, but aside from that, I also want to bring, I'm trying to find a partner, uh, form of sponsorship or whatever that can help lift the financial load from me
Mm-hmm.
so we can have more people on there to associate it with the brand and something. So yeah, I
Right.
feel like that's something we should do.
That's something
Mm,
cool actually because there's a lot of
mm,
people in photography that look at, and when I put I realized this when I put this kind of posts out there to for people to ask you questions. You notice like there's a lot of photographers out there that look up to you guys with the work you do, and
mm,
you guys being able to open your doors to help these kind of people to help them, like you're talking
mm,
about a training to
mm,
better them, and like you said, most of the guys are individual. There's not like a company
mm,
you work for, and they really need a training and guiding them and helping them through that. So I'm glad
mm.
that you guys opened that door for people like that so they can grow, and that's nice. Where does he live? Abeirawa. I don't know who. I don't remember
Uh,
the person who asked this question. Someone bagala kumanya wo obeira, but somebody asked
I
where.
call that, yeah. Anyway,
But we
without
address.
disclose, without disclosing a lot of information, I live in Nigeria.
Okay.
Where exactly? Can discuss, but it's Nigeria, in the capital city of Nigeria. So yeah, you'll
Okay.
be able to see me around the streets
The
if you
United
look hard
States of
enough.
Nigeria.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other question is, does he have Empako? If yes, please tell us.
And the Mpako is Akiki.
Akiki.
Akiki. Akiki.
Now, are you from
Kiki.
Bunyoro? Or
Yes.
Wampako wajifuna bufunyi?
I'm a Mnyoro royalty.
Okay.
Yeah. From is it the ruling clan, the Vavito?
Okay.
That's where I'm from. Yeah.
I saw you, and now this is the perfect place to bring in this. I saw you milking cows. The Banyoros, do you guys have cows in Bunyoro? And your experience of, yeah, you are the Bachue. No, it's Sibiono na
The,
Atiwano.
no, the Wachwezi are the others. So I grew up around cows. Actually, when I was young, we used to graze goats. We had these South African goats and whatever. My grandpa had a lot of goats and would graze them, would take them to the jungle and all that. But we also had cows. That was after. So I'd go to the village during holidays in primary, then go to the bush. You live, you wake up at 8 in the morning,
Hmm.
actually 7. You milk the cows.
Yeah.
I never used to milk, but I know how it's done. Uh, Milk them, then at 10 have breakfast and go up the hills. There were
Hmm.
two big hills where we used to graze from, and go spend the whole day there. They're huge hills, meanwhile,
Yeah.
not these small hills of country. Spend the whole day there with the cows. Then in the evening at around 5, you go to there's a stream of water
Hmm.
between the hills. They drink water and you bring them home and they milk again
Wow.
in the evening and you go to bed
That
and repeat again tomorrow.
that is crazy. It's I think it sounds the same because my family is from Kenya and the Kenyans have like
Yeah,
cows, and my grandma used to
yeah.
do the same thing. You take them to drink water, you bring them back. Now, when you're milking, do you guys? Because
Mm.
she used Vaseline. Do you guys still use Vaseline when you're milking, or you just don't use
No,
anything?
So no, you don't use milk, Vaseline, because it will get in the milk.
Okay.
So the ideal, I think, the role of Vaseline is to make the mabele a bit
That-
smooth when you're
you
milking.
call them the
But
boobies.
the udder or the titties, yeah. However, the best way of doing that is so before you begin milking into the jug. For us, we use the big cans. Remember
Okay, the metal
the
ones.
US aid, yeah, the US aid cans which
Yeah,
they used to bring cooking oil in.
yeah.
So you'd
Oh yeah,
cut
yeah,
off
I
the lid
remember
and use
those.
those for
Yeah.
milking. Yeah.
Mm.
So when you squat, because it has a wide opening,
Yeah.
when you squat, you just put it between your legs and you're able to milk in there without spilling on the side.
Yeah.
Which was a bit tricky over this video, which I did the other day because the outlet is small for the banyan.
Okay.
So you need a lot of accuracy for that. However, to smoothen the titties, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you you milk onto your palm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then grab the titties and put the milk on the titties so they are smooth, yeah, so they are smooth and they're not rough.
Yeah.
If you try to do it with when it is rough,
Yeah.
then I would
With
add I
cows.
would explain it in terms of the other, but we'll not cross that
The
line.
PG.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
be the
you have to be like yeah.
yeah. Mm,
So the other question is, honestly,
mm,
videos or
mm,
pictures? What does he prefer, minus all the social media pressure? Like, if you would do videos or just
mm,
pictures, what would you prefer?
that's a tricky one. I love them 50-50, but if I had to, I think I would go for video. Why? Because video you get to explain more, give out more information, tell your story better, as opposed to pictures where someone looks at it and just scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they don't pay attention to what is in it. You see a picture, it looks nice, the colors are nice, the framing is nice, double tap, move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The video you get to hold people for a few seconds, like, hmm,
Yeah.
yeah, that's nice. That's nice. And then they'll, if they want to watch, they scroll up and scroll back down and go, I think I missed something. There's
Mm-hmm.
something there. Yeah. So I feel like you communicate more in a video as opposed to pictures.
Yeah.
And pictures are very forgettable. You see a picture, you move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Video, you can either capture the attention by the visuals, the transitions, or the sound, the
Okay.
music in the video. So I think I prefer videos.
Videos. Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds that's really good. And like the videos you've made, I know I mentioned it in the episode we did first, but I saw a video you reshared. I think it was a throwback for the last year, of the people's reaction on concerts. That lives rent free in my head. Like every time I rewatch that, like when you talk
Yeah.
about those videos capturing our attentions, like they do, like
Mm.
and I think your captions too, like the way I know we've had this conversation before, but you can't avoid
Yeah.
to talk about it because your captions connect you to the picture. Because there's one caption you said,
Mm.
I think they were bribed, or I don't know if the artists, or because these people, the way they
Mm.
were showing their passion for this song, and then your
Yeah.
caption kind of was like, you think
I
these people were
remember
bribed?
that. I think they were paid.
Yeah, they were paid or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
What is?
it seemed unreal. These
Yeah.
things you only see, these reactions you only see them at fellowship
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of stuff. But to see it in a concert, it's
Yeah.
really something. And also, why I brought it back is I was creating space in my hard drive, so I kept finding these things because I want to organize them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in days, dates, and whatever. So I was going through the folders, trying to organize them, and I find I'm like, wait, this looked nice. I
Yeah.
remember this was nice. Let's put it out again in case they've forgotten. So yeah.
They, omanyi mwerabira
Just,
nnyo. So,
mwirabira nnyo bantu mmwe.
uh,
So yeah,
the other question is, what is his passion? What is your passion?
passion. Again, it's video and photography. Ideally, that's pretty much everything. That's the passion.
Yeah. Where does Arsenal rank in things of like passion, like or like sports? No, I'll stick with Arsenal because I want to
Mm,
hear about other Arsenal fans, like how. Because for me, like Arsenal,
mm,
it's up
mm.
there. Like Arsenal is a team. It's something that will make me do something that I don't know. Like I didn't, and something else can never make me do. Like the way I love that team, It's huge for me.
So the mere fact that I've been supporting them for close to 19 years without having won Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only tangible trophy we've been close to was that time we got to Champions League finals.
2006.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and Eto nutmegged our guy.
Yeah.
Was it Lehman or Seaman?
Lemon.
Yeah,
And got a red
yeah,
card.
that goal. Uh, I've, I don't know. It's way up there.
Yeah.
I can't leave Arsenal. It's among, I think, top five.
Yeah.
It's up there. Yeah,
How
top
much?
five.
How much would you get paid to support Manchester United?
Not enough. Not enough. Because this is it's the English word is
Rivalry. Yeah.
zung.
Rivalry. I think.
That
Yeah.
word. That one. Yeah. And it would feel like a betrayal me going to
Yeah.
support the other team.
Yeah.
It's like you put it in relationship terms where you and your homeboy have beef with one of our exes
Yeah. And
and
then you.
who both enga yatulumya fembi babiri
Yeah.
and we've all decided tetuli musonyiwa.
Yeah.
And then me, I go behind this guy's back and forgive and start hanging out with the other guy. It would feel like a betrayal. So I personally cannot go back to I can never support Manu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too. Like I would never. I don't think there's enough money for that. Plus
Even
anything.
if even if they went to a different league, even if they went to Europa or whatever, not Europa, La Liga,
Yeah.
I would still not support them. So yeah, it's not bad.
I feel like the hate Manchester United has towards Arsenal, because even after we drew, they were all over social media making noise about a draw, and they just scored on themselves 2 goals the previous game. They forget
And
about
that's how bad it is. That's how bad it is.
it.
So yeah.
All right. The other question. I have a few questions now left, but jokes aside. No, I think she said jokes. Why is he single? Today's episode is sponsored by Dancesoft Gamers. Dancesoft Gamers is the leading distributor of video games and other consumer gadgets like the podcast microphone sets, ring lights, headphones, and affordable smartwatches, and many other cool gadgets. For these and more, visit their website at www.dancesoftgamers.co. That is www.dancesoftgamers.co. I know at first we asked the question about Faiza, you said no, and then this person said, why is he single? Why is Nyaika single?
I have not said anywhere on the internet whether I'm single or not. I've not declared relationship status. So it is very bad for whoever that is to assume that I am single.
Okay.
I am single until proven otherwise. I can neither confirm nor deny anything. So, whether I'm guessing,
Do you need your lawyer, or we can ask your lawyer?
Yes, I decline to answer.
Yeah.
About my relationship status.
Whatever you say will be used against you in the court of laws.
Exactly. It's like shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the other question. I was going to start with it, but I'm glad it came up now. What is his best drink? And he always has a bottle in his hands. This person notices you around, and you always have a bottle. And today you had a bottle too when we started this podcast, and I think there's still like 2. But I want to know your best drink.
Senior. So, well, since they didn't specify which drink it is, ideally, I love milk, but I'm taking a break from milk this month.
Yeah.
So I decided that today I'm not taking milk.
Okay.
So it's order of milk, water, and Tusker.
Okay.
Light, to be exact. So it is in that order.
Okay.
If I could live with one drink only, ideally.
Tusker.
Alcoholic beverage, yes, Tusker.
Okay.
But milk that covers the whole range. So I could live off milk. So there are different categories. So the question is very broad. I don't know what they meant, if they meant alcohol or refreshments or whatever. So
What do you always have in the bottle in your hands, though? Hey there, this is Bonnie Kibuka, the host of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. Thanks for watching and listening to my podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with a friend and recommend somebody to this podcast. Don't forget to leave a feedback on this podcast because that's how we grow. And also don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. Join us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So we'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much and be blessed.